Hi, this is Ken Kaplan from the New England Motorcycle Museum, and today I'm proud to represent another pristine, absolutely gorgeous bike from the Superbike Universe collection. This is an extremely rare Suzuki GSX-R 1100. I have the title right here. It's a 1996 with only 4,300 miles. Why is it extremely rare? Because these things were blazing fast and most of them got wrecked or highly modified and turned into drag bikes. It's an oil and air-cooled engine, and they're very easily highly modified. So to find one that's 100% original like this with the bone stock exhaust is absolutely extremely rare. Now, I say 100% original, but I gotta point out that the windscreen is not original, and it also has a brand new zero gravity windshield, and it has a brand new set of Michelin Scorcher radial tires, okay? So the tires and windscreen, so it's really not 100%, but as far as I can tell, and I know the Suzuki gurus out there are gonna study this and try to find me at fault, but as far as I can tell, this is about as original as a bike can come, except for the tires and windscreen. So, and I don't think you'd want to run it with the original tires. Look at these tires. These are brand new. They still have the nubs on them. Less than 10 miles on the tires. The bike is in absolutely gorgeous museum condition. Extremely rare to find because, like I said, most of them got destroyed. This bike is, they race these at the Isle of Man, and guys were killed on these 2 years in a row, so they actually outlawed them at the Isle of Man because the thing is so fast that, you know, and it's a kind of a heavy, big bike that people were getting killed on them. So it's an absolute monster. Very fast, beautiful paint job, black and white, factory finish on it. Has a couple little beauty marks like on the rear rail right here, a couple of tiny chips on the paint, and maybe a little tiny ding in the tank. But it's original paint. Very, very rare. We see a lot of bikes. We've had 300 bikes come through our shop this year, over 300. And I can tell you this, of all the bikes we've got in, I put this one in the top 5 as far as originality and low miles. Fires right up, runs good. I think it has an original battery in it. It's gonna need a battery, but I've got an excerpt from the Superbike Universe write-up on it, and that Peter Baccarosa, the owner of the bike, wrote, and he said, this is the last year of the big GSX-R 1100s. This is a pristine black, blue, and white example with less than 4,500 miles on the clock. It had just had a fresh service including oil, fluid flush, new tires, and brakes. This bike is completely stock. It was a one-owner example that was previously much loved and still is. It's on display right now in the New England Motorcycle Museum. The stock exhaust and a rust-free tank really set this bike apart from the rest. It had been residing in Pete's private climate-controlled collection at the at the Superbike Universe Museum prior to being bought here to the New England Motorcycle Museum. So all he's gonna do is add fuel, hook up a new battery, and away you go. Looks like it just came off the showroom floor. Absolutely gorgeous original example. I have a write-up, some information I had gotten off the internet about the bike. The original version of this engine was an '89 K model 1100 engine, and that was the first use of the now legendary and highly tunable and strong 1127cc oil and air cooled design into a new heavier, shorter, and stiffer frame based on the previous year's updated and extremely well received GSX-R 750J, the first of the slingshot bikes. Whatever it was, the standard bike was thought originally to be a little hard to handle, and many market magazines go as far as to advise buyers to avoid the K model because it was so powerful, and a lot of guys got hurt on it. This was an attitude that was reinforced with the death of the Suzuki racer Phil Mellor at the Isle of Man in 1989 on the GSX-R 1100K race bike. Jamie Witham also crashed in the same race, and it was enough to see the race authorities at the Isle ban the big bikes from racing for several years. It's just too powerful. Many owners say these bikes are the easiest to live with and the most well-rounded. Good fuel economy is even possible, over 45 miles per gallon on a long cruising run. And the slight changes made to the foot peg position on the WS On models even made distances a much less daunting prospect, so this bike can be ridden cross country too. In reality, the bike had become a highly competent and monstrously fast machine. 177 miles per hour was measured as the max speed of the standard WS bike. Superbike magazine, sports touring machine, a far cry from its race-born origins. Despite the fact over its production tens of thousands of GSX-Rs were produced and sold all over the world, original examples in good condition have become something of a rarity. this is an older article, this is a 10-year-old article I'm reading here. Many bikes were ridden hard and often they were crashed. As a result, they became and remain a popular starting point for street fighters and customs. So, like I said, there were a lot of these produced, but most of them got destroyed and highly modified. That's the beauty. If you are a collector, buy this bike. If you are into original, unmolested GSX-Rs, buy this bike. If you're an investor that is looking to outpace the stock market, buy this bike because they're going up in value. And you're not going to find many with extremely low miles like this. And this one's ready to rock and roll with a brand new set of tires. If you want to ride it, ride it. If you want to put it in your museum, rolling in, that's all you got to do. The bike is a tuner's favorite. All versions respond well to tuning, and even early models can make 140 horsepower at the rear wheel with relative ease. Simple intake modifications and a good exhaust will yield upwards of 10 horsepower increase. More enthusiastic tuning will see 160 horsepower or more, and many drag racers have used superchargers or turbochargers with this engine to break 500 horsepower. So this engine is totally under stress, will run forever, capable of 500 horsepower with a supercharger or turbocharger on it. I've got the title in hand, New York State title, clean title. It's residing in the New England Motorcycle Museum right now. It's been on museum storage for the last decade, and it's a gorgeous bike. It has a battery tender lead on the side so you can plug it in so your battery doesn't die. It even has original warning labels on the tank. It's something most people take off as soon as they get the bike. Show them this, Kenny. It's got the original warning label. So like I said, I see a lot of bikes come through here. Very rarely do I see a bone stock 20-year-old super bike come through like this. So I hope it goes to a good home. Hopefully it stays in a collector's collection so it doesn't get destroyed. And you're preserving, not only when you buy this bike, not only are you preserving motorcycle history, you're also helping fund the New England Motorcycle Museum. 15% of the proceeds from this sale are going to the New England Motorcycle Museum Restoration Fund. The rest is going to the Superbike Universe Fund. So all the money is going back into the motorcycle industry. So good luck bidding on the bike. If you want to come look at it, we're here 6 days a week, 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. It even has the original, that's the first thing people will do, is take these reflectors off the sides. The turn signals, everything's on the bike from original. We just sold, if you look at our completed listings, we just sold an 86 GSX-R 750 for $18,500. That was not quite as original as this one. This one's 10 years newer, but guess what? This bike right here is gonna be going up in value, just like that 86 GSX-R 750 is worth 20 grand today. This thing is gonna be worth 20 grand in 10 years. So buy it, hold on to it. It's a rock solid investment, better than money in the bank, because you can look at it, enjoy it, and you're gonna end up making money on it, pretty much guaranteed it when you go to sell it. So no better investment than a classic bike like this that's just going up in value. So good luck bidding on the bike. I'm gonna roll it back into the museum, put it on display, and God bless America.